Welcome. Thank you for being here. My name is Mariana Henry. I work in international study programs in the Center for Global and Intercultural Engagement, and I'm also the chair of the PACE Involvement Committee. Among other tasks, the Involvement Committee is tasked with putting on all of the PACE socials, including this one. And we do these events to appreciate all of you and just highlight all of the hard work and commitment you bring to Utah Valley University. They're also just a great way to get everybody here all together at once, because that really never happens. So thank you for attending the PACE Staff Fall Forum, and thanks for everything that you do for UVU every single day. If you donated to the book drive, thank you. If you didn't, it's okay. We'll do another one for the holiday social in December, so just keep that in mind. If you still are holding onto a book because you didn't know where to put it, there's a table on the right over there, out in the lobby. So please put that out there on your way out later today. The book drive supports the University Project, which is a campus-wide effort to increase literacy and numeracy among youth in our community. So these books are going to go to United Way, and they will distribute them. You can also do more if you'd like to volunteer your time. So go ahead and check either the PACE service page, webpage, or the University Project webpage for more details. And that's also a great way to use your 8 hours of paid service leave. So check that out. I am now going to turn the time over to PACE President Brett McKechnie, and he's going to give you some updates on PACE. And then from there, we'll move to President Holland. And after President Holland, we'll do Wolverine Sightings Awards, Wolverine Pride, and then we'll have a special performance at the end. Thank you.
Okay, those of you who know me know I have issues with microphones. So if it's not loud enough, if I'm not talking into the mic, just shout it out, okay? Welcome. Thank you all so much for coming. And thanks to our administration for supporting this event, making it really possible for us. It's a great event to, as Mariana said, bring everybody together and really get the fall semester started off with a bang. And I especially want to thank the Involvement Committee, Mariana and her group, for just, they do so much work to put these together. Can we just give them a hand? Next, I want to say that I see a lot of green out there, and I'm happy to see that. Thank you for wearing green. Thank you for coming. Thank you for bringing books. That's a great volunteer opportunity that we have, and we do a lot of good with that. Those books, from the holiday social, those books got used that night. I mean, it was that critical. So thank you for bringing those books. All right. I asked some folks what I should talk about, and they said, you need to talk about what PACE is, what PACE does. And so I started writing, and after about 3 pages, I decided, well, maybe I better, shorten this up just a little. Our biggest thing is, we represent or we advocate for you, for the staff. And in addition to that, we have a good working relationship with the administration, with the faculty senate, with the students, and I saw Tyler here somewhere. Thank you for coming, all of you. Now, I got thinking about, there's so many different types of staff at UVU. I wanted to wear a tie and then take that off, and wear a polo and take that off, and wear a t-shirt and take that off. Everybody does such different jobs. And I figured I shouldn't probably try to do the quick change artist thing here on the stage, so I decided instead of that, I would come up with something. There's staff who have jobs from A to Z. And so I wrote a few down. Here we go. Advisor, business analyst, custodian, designer, engineer, fundraiser, groundskeeper. Some folks work in HR, others in IT. Journalist, kitchen staff, lab manager, marketing, a nutritionist, office managers, payroll, quality control, receiving, statistician, therapist, Unix administrator, video technician, woodworker, Some of us have been trained as X-ray technicians. Some work with youth programs. And I saw somewhere, somebody was trained as a zoologist. Okay, so a zoologist probably doesn't work as staff at UVU, but somebody has a zoology degree who works here as staff. All right, so that's my A to Z. I missed so many in that range. I started writing in the A's and got up to like 10 before I just said, you know what, there's too many A's. There's so many varied positions, varied job responsibilities that people have here. And PACE is responsible for representing all of you. And we hope we do a good job of that. That's our goal, is to represent all of you. One example of the great staff at UVU is some of the folks from our facilities department. They built for us, for PACE, the PACE recognition wall. And if I could have all the folks who had anything at all to do with the PACE recognition wall stand up. Are they here? I'm hoping. Okay, the unsung heroes are off working. They did such a fantastic job. Do y'all know where the PACE recognition wall is? It's right out there. It's right out there. And it's there to honor and thank those great employees. There's so many great employees, but those who've been recognized with the PACE Distinguished Employee Award. I hope that on your way out, you stop and take a look at that wall. Those folks from facilities did such a fantastic job. They had great attention to detail. They really made an impressive wall for us to recognize staff at UVU. So can we give them a round of applause? Okay, real quickly, I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about the folks who are on the PACE boards so that you can recognize them and know who it is who represent you. First of all, Sherry Harward is not here, I don't think. But she has been elected. She's the president-elect right now. She will be PACE president from 2015 through 2017. And then the rest of these, if you'll stand up when I call your name. Shalise Nuttall, she's our VP. Way to go, Shalise. Sandy Kohler, she's our secretary. Mike Francis, I haven't seen him, but maybe he's here somewhere. I hope he's here. He's our administrative liaison. He helps us interface with the administration. We have senators from all 6 divisions of the university. All you senators, stand up. These are the folks you want to really recognize, get to know, and talk to about things that concern you, okay? And finally, the committee chairs. We have 11 committees. All you committee chairs, stand up. Now, they have a whole bunch of varying tasks that they do. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. But thank you, committee chairs, and those committees who work with them. There's great amount of work that gets done there. All right, I want to talk to you just really quickly about one of the things on the table here. This PACE directory and handbook we put together as a directory, first of all, so that you can know who your representatives are, what the committees do for you, and so forth. So if you'll open that up, you'll see information about each committee, information about what a senator is supposed to do, and contact information for your senators, okay? There's also a whole bunch of other great information in here. It's all available on the website, and in fact, it's probably more updated on the website, but we thought if we put something in your hand, maybe you'd recognize it just a little bit more. So please take one of those home. If you didn't get one, please find one or get with us after, and we want everybody to have one of these, okay? Next, I want to talk just really super briefly about one other item. From our planning folks, we have a new mission, core themes, and administrative imperatives brochure, pamphlet, I guess, to tell us about our mission, core themes, administrative imperatives. Great stuff right here. Please take that with you. All right. to wrap up, I just want to say I'm feeling an excitement. As we get closer to school, there's this tension building, at least in me, and I hope it's building in you. School's about to start. I could see it as I walked over here today. The windows were being cleaned. The roundabouts fixed. You know, lots of great things are just starting to come together, and you can tell we're getting ready for school. And that happens not just with faculty, not just with students, but with staff. We're all in this making that happen. And I want to thank you for that. And I just really feel like as we get closer to school and really over the summer, I felt this great kind of growth in the university, maturity that I feel building. You know, we were made a university in 2008. It's starting to feel like that to me now. And I think that's because of a few things. One, we're having new programs and grants and things like that bring you know, new excitement to UVU. We've got this classroom building that, man, if you look at that from the freeway, isn't that massive? That's really awesome. And I felt like at the end of spring semester, the ribbon cutting for the SLWC, wow, what a great facility that is. I'm over there almost every day. It's a great facility, built well, got great equipment, and it's a great place for students to hang out. But you know what? It's also a great place for staff to hang out, for employees. I hope you'll take a look at it. I think I saw on one of the digital signs that there's a free first Friday of every month is a free day. Please go check it out on one of those days. Get to know it. There's some great stuff that happens there. Amy asked me to mention she's got a booth back here just as you leave. If you want to go sign up, that's a great place to do that. Okay. All right. It's with great pleasure that I introduce now President Holland. If you don't know, President Holland is and all of the VPs. Really, we get great support as staff from our administration. We thank them for that. It's very rewarding to sit with them and know and really see evidence that they are thinking about how the staff are thinking, what they're concerned about, and really trying to make the best university for not just students, not just faculty, but also staff. So please welcome President Holland to the stage, and thanks.
Thank you for who's ever still clapping out there. That extra effort really means a lot. I'm delighted to be here in my newest capacity today, the new campaign manager for the McKechnie for 2016 presidential campaign. How about that guy? Round of applause for Brett. And of course, evidence of why we admire Brett was on display this morning by his apparent ability to resist his urge to disrobe in front of us. That was a good decision, Brett, so thank you. It's hard to believe, here we are again, another year rolling around, but I don't know how your biorhythms work, but this time of year, I want to be on this campus. I want to be at a campus. I want to be part of a university, and such a great thing to do what we do. And I'm personally pleased to be joined now with a new administrative team around me in a couple of important slots. And so I'd like to do a couple of introductions. First, we have Dr. Jeffrey Olson, who's just joined us. Dr. Olson, would you stand here? New Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Thanks to the early prison release program, he's here a few weeks earlier than planned. That's worked out very nicely. We're grateful for that. Actually comes from St. John's, an extraordinary institution back in New York that really embodies many of the same values and virtues that we have. Tremendous academic institution, but one rigorously committed to an inclusive, open outreach to underserved, underrepresented populations. So he's come and fitting in seamlessly here. Really delighted to have him here. We're also joined today by Dr. Fidel Montero, new Chief of Staff, a new position in the Office of the President. Fidel, would you stand up and take your bows? Fidel is formerly not only a member of the Board of Trustees and an entrepreneur and a Columbia degree trained scholar, but he was principal at Alta High School, where he occasionally would have people arrested in his office. That's why I brought him close to me, primarily. So just be on alert if you see the handcuffs coming out when he's around. He's an extraordinarily talented young leader, and we're delighted to have him with us and be working together. I want to kind of pick up on some of the themes that Brett talked about. I really do think this is a time for us to be celebrating. We don't probably do enough of that around here, and so I want to be very conscious about taking a minute to just talk about some of the great things that are going on and why we should take a moment to celebrate and how we may do that in a little more formal way this fall than perhaps we've done it in the past. So, of course, given all that's happening on this campus, there's no way I can give a comprehensive picture to what we're doing, but let me just give you a snapshot of some things, some new stuff, some stuff you may have seen last spring when we were together at Hoagie's, but just again, kind of a recapturing of some of these key moments. First of all, let me start with this little commercial. If you haven't seen it, you should. Let's see if this works. It is me and technology, so.
We all must make the choice that when we fall, we will rise. We push ourselves to the limit and push each other. And if you, we all must make the choice that when we fall, we will rise. We push ourselves to the limit and push each other. And if you take on one of us, you take on all of us. All it takes is one opportunity, one moment. And when it comes, we face it as one.
Yeah. I did give them permission to use me sliding there at the end, just for the record books there. The only Division I men's soccer team in the state. This is so exciting. The vibe we're getting from the community about this is so strong and positive. I hope you're excited. I hope you noted the first home game is going to be really a terrific thing. So join us with this new era of athletics at Utah Valley University. We can also, we don't have to go back very far to talk about our athletic accomplishments on the international stage. Two of our own medaling at Sochi this year and putting on a fantastic performance. We're extremely proud of them. They got some great press just because of who they are individually. Wonderful ambassadors for UVU, operating truly on the world stage. Again, just some highlights of so many of accomplishments, many of our students, which again is the heart of our mission, student success. But our PR students going off to the Golden Spikes Award, the competition, and they had a student-based PR campaign that they had the winning entry in on the national level. Speaking of athletics, getting into the WAC, as I've said, I promised everyone would be immediately competitive. As we got in the WAC, we won 3 championships, including men's basketball, the marquee sport for the conference. And yeah, thank you. Yeah. And if you haven't heard, since then, over the summer, Holton Hunsaker was named the outstanding academic All-American. He was singled out above all other NCAA athletes for his prowess on the court and in the classroom. I think that means as much to me as the championship, to have that blend of the academic and the athletic, both of them taken to the serious heights that he did that. What a wonderful accomplishment for Holton, and a representative of our institution. Yes, thank you, thank you. Back-to-back national champions in theater. That's Chris Clark. This is truly the ultimate collegiate competition. We won it 2 years back-to-back in 2 different categories, an amazing accomplishment. Yeah, just keep clapping, I'll keep going. It's exciting. Skills USA, you know, we, as I say over and over again, we embrace the trades here at Utah Valley University. Is still a vital part of our college education and what we're providing here. And we do this on a national scale, winning a national championship across a range of different disciplines where our students were competing and doing the very best. National dance champions. I think if you look in the back, you'll see a few of them right there. Ladies, aren't we right there? Yeah, wave to the ladies and congratulate them. National championships. Our choir winning national collegiate honors. Our culinary folks, regional chef of the year, our $2 million partnership with Vivint to launch a sales program, and then the Student Life and Wellness Center that Brett talked about. Again, this is such a great asset and opportunity that also you folks can take advantage of at a greatly discounted rate. You ought to be over there doing that. And then, of course, what we're all about, these students. And a record number of graduates, over 5,000 students whose lives have been transformed because of what we're doing on this campus. And then, of course, our big victory in the legislature this year, $24 million of new ongoing funding. Doesn't completely fix all of our problems, but it takes a massive step forward to fix those funding inequities that we've had. That's equal to, again, what we've gotten from the legislature in the last 8 years. Had a great team of support working with me on the Hill, and I think this does speak for a new era dawning here at Utah Valley University. So, thank you. So again, so much more that we could talk about, but my point is there is just so much to celebrate, and we need to do that. And so here's my request that I've made, is that we take something that we've actually had for a while, but maybe haven't known it as well as we should have or taken advantage of it. Every year we have a Founders Day celebration. And this year it's scheduled for September 10th, 3 p.m., and this is in honor of our great founder, Wilson Sorensen, and others who joined him in pioneering this institution. It starts as a small little technical college and has blossomed into this fantastic cutting-edge university. And it's important that we remember our past and we honor our past. And I want to do that this year, but I want to do it with also a greater celebration of the present. So you're going to be getting some more information, but come prepared on the 10th to join us in the quad with music and food and some fun, some entertainment, to just take a minute and take stock about the great things that are happening on this campus, which is thanks to all of you. And I want to say more about that as I wrap up. But while a lot of the things I showed you were kind of student successes, those things don't happen without your support. And so we're going to collectively come together as an institution and just say, we're pretty great. Not just pretty great, we are awesome. And we're going to do that, and it's going to be a great afternoon. So please plan on doing that. Now with that, I want to shift for a little bit and give you some update and insight about kind of where we are institutionally on some critical things. Let's go back to this issue of equity. So what are we going to do with all that money? I know, as I've explained to you, unfortunately, it's not $24 million into salaries. I know that was the big hope for all of us. but those salary dollars are set by the legislature. So this is money that does go into, though, to making our jobs easier, lighter, if you will, doing more that we've wanted to do. And so let's just talk for a minute about the principles that we need to follow in the spending of this equity money, so that we're all on the same page, so to speak. First of all, just a couple of basic principles about how we're approaching the equity money. First of all, as I think you've seen already, we're not just going to go spend this all at once. We're going to be very measured and thoughtful about how this is spent over time. So we spent some of it last spring. We made some decisions based on that last spring. We're going to make some more decisions here in the early fall. We're going to make some more decisions in the middle of the year, and we'll probably cascade some of that on into next year, so that we can really take the time to think about how to make the most of this money to have the biggest impact on our campus. It also needs to continue to be connected to the things that have always governed our budgeting process. Does it advance the core themes? Does it help with our 4-year strategic plans that we've all been putting forward? Does it help with our administrative imperatives? One of those administrative imperatives is that while we're in a little bit of a plateau right now on growth, growth is coming back, and we need to get ready for that growth to come. And how do we use that money to do that? That will all be part of our analysis. And then finally, and probably most significantly, I need to be clear, is when the legislature gave us that money, as legislatures are wont to do, they gave us a set of parameters that needed to govern the spending of that money. So just to be very clear with all of you, here are the 4 things that were formally stipulated by the legislature that would direct the way those monies would be spent. First and foremost, that it would go to support students in completing their educational goals and their professional preparation. So programs and support that will help directly in those kinds of activities for the students need to get have an area of emphasis with this spending. Second, there's a broad range of needs in this region with respect to students and employment opportunities and industry demands and civic demands. We have to sort through those accordingly and make sure that we keep our broad mission that ranges from many of our community college offerings to our university offerings, and make sure that each of those are supported in ways that our community calls for. Third, we need to continue to foster this culture of academic rigor and excellence and professional excellence. For us, again, that's that term serious. And where are the areas of support that we need? Where are the areas of training that we need? The things that we need to have at our disposal in order to have a more serious, professional, high-quality delivery of our services and activities on campus. And finally, we've got to be more efficient through the use of technology, but technology itself costs, and so we have to make investments in that technology to be able to allow us to move forward with greater innovation and efficiency. So those are the 4 areas that really will govern, and I should clarify that $24 million, 21 of that was the equity money. So $21 million needs to be spent in one way or another tied to one of these 4 categories. So you've probably heard that we're doing our PBA process a little different this year. We're going to take it in 2 phases as opposed to a single phase. So the first phase will be coming up, and it will be focused on just equity money, so really tied to one of those 4 areas that we've talked about. And it's tied to things that are time sensitive. Especially, this was driven by the faculty hiring cycle. So if we wait for a traditional PBA process to kick in, academic affairs won't have decisions on faculty appointments until too late in the year to start to make hiring offers. So this first phase is going to be primarily dedicated to faculty hiring requests. Now, not exclusively, because there may be some other things in your areas that are particularly time sensitive. And if they are, you're invited to discuss that with your leaders and make those proposals kind of coming up through the line. But the idea is that this is for this is for time-sensitive expenditures, both ongoing and one-time, that tie into this equity framework according to those 4 principles. And we're trying to spend, about $4 million ongoing and $5 million one time as a rough target. We may do a little more, we may do a little less, kind of depends on what comes forward and what we deem as appropriate. But again, that's with our spirit of we're just not going to open it up and spend all of the money in one fell swoop. So just to help you in your thinking and just to be aware of what we're wrestling with as an institution about how that money will get distributed. So in terms of the timeline, we'll have 2 conversations, if you will, as part of phase 1, one on September 24th in the afternoon, the other on October 2nd. The one on September 24th will tackle those first 3 lines of the equity ask, and then the October 2nd conversation will be focused on that 4th one, which again tends to be a little more operational and administrative. That one, they may all have application to things you're interested in, but that one in particular might be one that you all are paying attention to. So that will complete phase 1, and then phase 2 will take us back into our regular PBA process, where we will again continue to spend some equity money along the lines that I've discussed here, but we may have some other resources to be spending there too, so we will take requests for budget expenditures that go beyond the parameters that I've just explained here. So that's fairly nitty-gritty budget stuff. I've tended not to do that in this setting before, but this is such an unusual year with so much money at stake that I thought you were owed the courtesy and awareness of what we're wrestling with, and also invite you to, again, be part of that conversation. Our PBA process is very open and transparent, and you should be thinking about these things and communicating within your divisions about how we respond in the face of this opportunity that we have. So with that, I'd like to shift now and talk to you, as I often do in this setting, about what are my priorities. Again, as I underscore every year, these are not the only things that will happen on this campus. There's going to be, frankly, a ton of other things that are going on with other leaders. There will be a lot of other things that I'm doing. But just to kind of give you the 4 or 5 things that are right at the top of the list for me that I think are most crucial for this institution moving forward, I want to give you a glimpse into that. First, I want to talk about telling our story. In the spirit of what I've just said, all institutions of higher learning in some ways have a public reputation that either is ahead or behind of where it is in actual reality. And I think that our reputation still lags behind where we are in reality. I think the school has a great reputation, but we are even better than people recognize. And I think that what I need to do this year, because there are so many great things happening, is use the power of the office of the president to try to tell our story even more broadly and boldly than we've told it before. One of the ways I want to do this is by issuing a 5-year report to the community, where we can look back and talk about all the things that have happened in the last 5 years of this administration. Not in any way to suggest it's something I've done, but what we have collectively accomplished in the last 5 years. And I think the community is going to be blown away, because I know they have a sense that we're good, we're improving, it's a great place, but I still don't think they know in detail the fantastic things that you all are making happen. So we've spent a lot of time, I've spent a lot of personal time this summer working with our great folks in marketing and with the cabinet, pulling together this document that we plan to distribute to every home in our service region and perhaps beyond. So that'll be forthcoming. We're still working on it right now. And I will just add this note, please bear with me. If you get this and you see something in there that's missing, just know we just can't put everything in there. There are even with the extended little publication we've got here, there are so many good things that you still have to pick and choose, and I wince about that, but I do think we're going to tell the story in the most compelling way that we can, and just know that there are many other things out there that we are also proud of that could have easily gone in, but didn't for whatever reason. But that's kind of an early first thing that you'll see coming forward in the next couple of weeks, and been a big push already for me. With that basically underway, the other big thing that we've been ramping up on is a campaign for an arts building. This is, I think, in many respects, the one missing piece of our campus. Now, don't misunderstand me. There are some other things we need to do to build this campus out, to extend some things, but in terms of something we just don't have, that we desperately need, it is an arts facility. We've got these tremendous programs. They're nationally competitive, and they're doing it without anything really approximating what I think are university adequate facilities. I can only imagine what they could do if they had proper facilities. And I also think this is a mark of a serious institution of higher learning. It's what distinguishes us as a true university, as opposed to a place that's just simply about job training or skill development. This is about the higher exploration of things that may or may not have immediate commercial impact, but are about the artistic and the beautiful and the musical. And we need to have that on this campus for ourselves and for our students. So we've got a neat little design that we've sketched out. This is early. This could take on, a different look as we get into it. But we're showing our donors and friends that this is what we'd like to build, and we're hoping that we can get that done. We have a very tall hurdle here. We're trying to raise $15 million for this building. And the most we've ever raised for a building is a little over $2 million. So we're going to push as hard as we can this year. I don't know if we can get it done this year, but we're certainly going to work as if we can, and we'll just stay at it. This needs to happen, and I'm convinced it will happen. And we'd invite you to, again, be our partners with this, to help us get connected with people who can help, do what you can do to help the community see that this is a vital, pressing interest for our institution. On securing additional resources, I want to just note that the fight for equity, if you will, is not over. It's going to take a little slightly different turn. We were so successful and so annoyed people that no one wants to hear the word equity anymore up at the legislature. But we still have an argument to make about some additional support that we need for the institution, and I think we're finding a way to make it, and I will stay at that, along with compensation. And I think we made some progress on compensation. With the equity problem, again, not fixed, but substantially addressed, we'll continue to push on that, but I want to push even harder on compensation for this year, knowing that that's a significant need for all of you in what you're trying to do to navigate your personal and individual lives. Again, these are not our decisions, but we're going to go make the case for how hard you're working, for the contribution you're making, and see where we can get this year on that issue. The other, as we talk about the next priority is, as I suggested earlier, we have got to be preparing for growth. We've never really quite had maybe the luxury that we've got like we do this year, which is the following. We're not growing this year, so a little just informal update on enrollment. We may grow just a little bit. It looks like we will not be down in enrollment. That's the great message. So doesn't look like we'll be down. Doesn't look like there will be any sort of budget cut associated with that. We never know for sure until final count coming up. Looks like we're holding roughly even. But we're really pretty optimistic that next year we will have growth. That's when the wave of these LDS missionaries that left early will start to come back. We've also had a in the response to that downturn, our marketing and student recruitment folks have gotten more energetic and sophisticated, and that will have impact. So we think growth will be coming, and may be coming significantly. We need to be prepared for that. And we don't always get the chance to prepare, where there's a kind of a lull in the storm. And now a lull in the storm with a little bit of money behind us. So we need to be thinking about how do we get prepared for growth. And I'm inviting you to be our thought partners in that, in terms of getting ready. One aspect of this growth is already upon us with the classroom building, which was argued for, pled for, fought for at the legislature a couple of years ago, while we're in the middle of a downturn, was based on this argument to say, yes, we're in a downturn now, but those students are coming back, and they're coming back in droves, and we need to be ready. And we are going to be ready, and this is a significant thing. I can't imagine the pressures we'd be facing right now with all those students coming back if we didn't have that building. Now, the other implication of this building is that it's had a tremendous cascade effect, because we're going to be moving some whole departments over into that building. Moving those departments frees up spaces that then creates certain opportunities to address other needs that we have had on campus. And I can tell you that for the last 7 to 8 months, the cabinet has been working very, very hard to figure out how to deal with all this, because the cascade effect has virtually, I think, is going to be felt on I think almost every building on campus. That's probably not technically correct, but it's close. And so figuring out who goes where, what their needs are, what their hopes were, has been a very collaborative process, lots of input. We had a space summit, which is not a science fiction scene, but just a process we've used to kind of hear from you about what your needs were. We took those needs into very serious consideration. We did everything we could to try to give you kind of what your first hopes were. Haven't always been able to do that. We're just now getting ready to roll that out to our leadership group here in a week or two. They'll get a chance to vet it and say, you know, well, have you thought about this or what about that? And very shortly that'll be coming out. But that's taken a lot of effort, and we'll continue to take some management at the senior level to make sure that we're really optimizing this moment. You don't get these chances very often as an institution. And so I've invested in it personally. All of the vice presidents have. Our facilities folks have been terrific in running the process. So you'll hear more about that. I will ask for your support and your patience. Transitions and moves are never easy. They're never perfectly efficient. We never get maybe everything that we want out of this, but I think there's been a ton of work done to try to make this as optimal as possible for as many people as possible. And so as the move starts, I ask for your support and responsiveness to making this as seamless as it can be. With that, I think it's time to revisit our master plan. As you may recall, when I first came here, I called for a revisiting of the master plan. We did that. It's helped guide and shape many of these decisions we've made over the last 5 years. And now we're looking at a situation where, in many respects, our campus is being built out here. Again, we'll do a couple of more projects on this campus, but we really need to think about the broader implications for what we may now do at the Vineyard property and Thanksgiving Point and the Heber campus and all of that working together. So we'll be doing that in a more formal way this coming year. And we also need to revisit our strategic plan for managing growth. This was a first-year project. It's given us shape and benchmarks for what we've been targeting. It's remarkable to the degree to which we're on track with where we said we thought we would be in 5 years and the resources we would need to support that. But we really need to look at the next 5, see if there needs to be some tweaking to that, make sure we're being as thoughtful about the next 5 years as we were about the first. And I think this is the year to do that. Then beyond that, the theme for me this year is sort of not new initiatives, but refining existing initiatives. There is a lot going on this campus. I think there's always a danger that maybe you could get doing too much. We don't want to do that, be guilty of that, and we do think there's some fantastic things happening that just need a little more maturing, maybe more resources, a tweak here, a tweak there, and it can have even more impact. So these are initiatives that are tied to basically to our core themes. One that's kind of front and center for me is a completion initiative, taking the great work we've done with retention, where we've made dramatic strides in terms of improving our retention rate, and now saying, okay, we're keeping the students in school. Now let's keep them in school and take them all the way through to graduation. This is something that Academic Affairs has really seized on. There's a lot of energy at it at the state and system level. I'm personally invested in it. So we want to take the retention initiative and introduce that completion element to it as a way to further refine that and move that student success needle forward. And then with respect to engaged learning, there are a number of things here that, again, have already started that we need to ramp up. Our internship programs, some of our business engagement strategies, our Academy for Creativity and Technology, other things that we're doing there with just, again, not trying to do a lot of new stuff, but get those going with even more aggressiveness and affecting more students and more of our community members is a focus this year. And then finally, I want to say that we want to talk about inclusive initiative. As you, I think, all know, this last year, we've under the leadership of Kyle Reyes, we've been spending a lot of time talking about inclusion and developing a kind of a strategy for moving forward with a more inclusive campus. And I'm very grateful for that. Though I do want to say, for the record, I think this is important, which is we haven't just kind of started new. This is a part of an ongoing commitment. And I'm very proud of the work that we've done on the inclusive front. And so our Latino initiative, nationally recognized, singled out as one of 6 baccalaureate institution programs that is seen as a leading program in the nation for how we have turned around the atmosphere and the success rate of our Latino and Latina students. I'm very grateful for my wife, Paige, who's kind of seized on this issue of women in education and young women attending UVU, partnering with Susan Madsen and our folks at the Women's Success Center. And we're just so grateful for Ann Wyrapo and her leadership. But these ladies are coming together and really making a difference to get more young women onto this campus and graduating. With the We Care Center and other things that we've got going. We've got a Native American outreach that's really starting to pick up steam. The governor was on this podium just a few weeks ago, and every state leader that got up was talking about UVU and what we're doing for the Native American population. It was very gratifying to see that. Our Global Spotlight program's just been really well organized and getting us more globally conscious about the world outside of our Utah Valley realm here, and I'm very thankful for our leaders in that area. So we've been doing a lot, but we need to do more in terms of just making sure this culture of inclusion gets ingrained and practical and has real implication for us. So the campus conversations, I think, were a big success, a lot of candor, a lot of discussion about what we're doing and about what we're not doing and where we're good and where we're not so good. And that's exactly what we wanted to have happen. And again, I'm thankful for Kyle and his sensitive leadership in this important area. And those conversations have culminated in the development of a formal strategic inclusion plan. I think most of you have on your table this one-pager. This one-pager is a representation of a website that will be launched shortly, and gives you where you can go check this out and get even more detail. Behind each of these objectives and goals, there's some another level of detail about things that we'll try to be achieving. I think it's a measured approach spread out over time and across the university so that no one group feels overly burdened or singled out to do this, but something that we're all doing collectively. So I just call your attention to that. On the back, there are some highlights of some, I think, very exciting things that are coming up that are in the inclusive vein, if you will. Some other things that may not be on there, but I want to call attention to. That's, again, a sort of a screenshot of the website that will be coming up. But as part of a fundraising effort, Mark Archambault and our friends of the foundation and the development office are really gotten behind an effort to do a scholarship drive, especially for first-generation students. We want to do scholarships here, but we especially want to reach out to those that need a little extra help to get here and stay here. And so I'm grateful for their leadership, and I think that'll be a very exciting project for us moving forward. One of the things that is on the list is excuse me, I'm a little ahead of myself still. Veterans Center. We have not had a Veterans Center to speak of. Thank you. Thank you. Long overdue on this campus, something I've been wanting to do, hoping we could do. This, by the way, is again one of those examples of the power of the classroom building. With that cascade and shifting of seats and arrangements, it creates some open spaces we haven't had before, and this jumped right to the top of the list as something that we wanted to do as a way to take care of these good men and women who have done so much to defend our liberties and protect us in this great country that we live in together. So we're grateful for that. One of the events that we've got coming up is Ibu Patel, who's coming out for our Reflection Center ribbon cutting on September 3rd. Ibu Patel, I've met with him personally. He's one of the great young dynamic leaders in this country, period. To say nothing of his leadership with respect to interreligious understanding. He's coming out to cut the ribbon on our Reflection Center and will be a presidential lecture series speaker for our fall semester. You won't want to miss this. I can guarantee you that. He's thoughtful and inspiring, has a lot to say about a lot of important issues that we're wrestling with here at UVU and that the nation and the world are wrestling with on a daily basis in a way that's ever more visible and ever more critical as things get more violent and more dangerous and more difficult. He gives a way forward, I think, for us to think about, for our students to think about, that's a helpful, could be a helpful antidote to not just, again, local problems, but to world problems. And I really encourage your participation in that moment. So, that's going to be a theme this year, is implementing that plan. So the heavy lifting's been done about what to do, and now we need to go do that. And again, we won't do it all this year, but we need to start to go to work on that. And let me just take this moment to pay tribute to Kyle Reyes, both for his role with this inclusive initiative, and as you heard, Fidel Montero comes in as Chief of Staff. This is in part because as Kyle has been moving forward with his own career and career development, having finished a doctoral degree and having that hunger or thirst, or as some of us consider a sickness to want to be a professor, he shares that with some of us, and so he's going off to the School of Education where he'll be a faculty member. And also, though, continue to work in my office part-time as a special assistant for inclusion so that we don't lose progress on this. And that's one of the reasons we have Fidel here to help reshape what was happening as in Kyle's role as my special assistant, but allow him to continue on this important initiative. So, round of applause for 5 years of service and a great work on this initiative. Okay, if I could, I'd like to just do something a little bit different here. I want to go back to the soccer theme, if I can. So, as Kyle's last act. So, I'm going to show you a clip from not this recent World Cup, but from an earlier World Cup. One of the great World Cup moments of all World Cup history, frankly. 1970 World Cup in Mexico. And this was a sort of an exciting World Cup to begin with. It was the first World Cup to be broadcast live around the world, and first time that they used the red and yellow cards in the World Cup finals. And there was this team, this Brazilian team, that was just sort of out of this world. It was the team of the world great Pelé. But it wasn't just Pelé. He was surrounded by a number of others, Carlos Alberto, Gerson, Jairzinho, the sort of the true greats of that era whose legacy still lives on. And they're in this World Cup, and they really had sort of dominated. They hadn't lost a game in any of their qualifying matches, and hadn't lost a game in any of the 6 games of the final series. So they're coming down to the end. And they are ahead, but the time is kind of coming to a close. And there's a moment here where you see a kind of a display of soccer excellence that still kind of lives in memory. And we may or may not be able to see it. So we got it. Okay. So. 3-1 lead for Brazil, and watch as Brazil takes the ball and starts to pass it around. Yeah.
Με 3-1 και είμαστε λίγο πριν την επίτευξη του τέταρτου τέρματος για τους Βραζιλιάνους.
I will translate. Reyes to Montero. Montero to Olsen.
Here's where it starts.
Okay, here's the starting point. Watch the teamwork here. You want to watch it again? All right, we'll watch it again. We will have Kyle softly sing during the second performance here.
Why not listen to it? Για την ομάδα της Ιταλίας.
Η Βραζιλία δεν είχε αλλαγές στο παιχνίδι, παρότι επιτρεπόταν 2. Πλέον είχαν αλλάξει οι κανονισμοί, επιτρεπόταν 2 αλλαγές και όχι μόνο σε τραυματισμό τερματοφύλακα.
Πάλι ήταν η πρώτη φορά που έγινε και αυτό το πράγμα.
Εδώ η παλιά από τον Ριβελίνο για τον Ζαϊρζίνιο. Συγκλίνει ο Ζαϊρζίνιο, βλέπει τον χώρο απέναντι για τον Απελέ. Ωραία η πάσα του για τον Κάρλος Αλμπέρτο με τη μία το διαγώνιο σουτ. Καμία αντίδραση από τον...
Well, there are a lot of things to admire about that play, including the length of their shorts. What did you see out there? If we were a little smaller group, I'd actually conduct a little discussion here, but given the size, let me just a few observations. You see some individual greatness. You see some serious soccer play, some of that navigating of a single player up through 4 or 5 players moving in and out, the athleticism, the practice that came to play. And then you see this, speaking of practice, there's that moment where Pele has the ball. And I can't quite tell from the film, maybe you can, I can't tell if he can see the other player coming or not. It looks to me like he can't, but he just nudges that ball out enough, knowing his teammate is coming and who scores the final goal. Now, that either comes because that was a practice play and they had that ready, or they had just played together so much and knew each other so well that he just knew his teammate was going to be there. In either case, it's a remarkable tribute to folks who are serious about what they do. This doesn't just happen because these guys are sort of haphazardly kicking the soccer ball around a couple of times a week. They are working and working and working to be the very best that they can be. There are a lot of, I think, powerful lessons and examples of excellence and seriousness in that I think are inspiring. But there's a slightly different point that I want to emphasize. The thing I love most about this play, and that I would have be perhaps our chief lesson today, and in the spirit of this inclusive message that we've been given, is that virtually everyone that could touch the ball, meaning everyone but the keeper, did touch the ball. That 9 out of the 10 players who could make a legal kick did. They passed to every player on the team to make that final goal. And that's why, more than anything else, it's gone down in history as one of the greatest goals of all time, because it took and demonstrated the whole team working together. Now, all those great student successes that I showed you at the beginning of this presentation, some of you, as we're here at the staff convocation, may be tempted to say, well, that happens in the classroom, that happens with professors and with deans and program directors. That doesn't happen without you. You are every bit as much of that team as the faculty and the deans and anybody else. And we need everybody in this room working together, passing together, working in coordination. It doesn't happen unless we all work at it together. Brett was exactly right. It starts when you walk onto this campus and you see how nice the lawns look and that the windows are cleaned. And it starts with making sure that the IT is running properly. And it starts with making sure that we have functions to admit students and to navigate their way through all of the details that it takes to keep their academic records in good order. I could go on and on. Every person in this room is needed for student success. And every student in our service region needs to be on this campus. We had a wonderful presidential lecture this year by Robert Putnam. I'm a political scientist by training. He's the #1 political scientist in America today in terms of his publications and influence, and it was a great treat for me to have him on this campus. I wasn't sure what he was going to come and talk about, but he came and talked about inclusion. He came and talked about some dangerous signs about too many institutions in America that are leaving too many people out. We're the exception to that trend, and it's a vital, vital mission. I need you, and I join with you, to make sure that every student feels welcome on this campus. As he said, all students should be our students. And to do that effectively, we ourselves must be inclusive with one another. We need an inclusive workforce, and we need to work together with respect and collegiality and energy, like that Brazilian soccer team. Moments of individual greatness here and there, other moments where a star like Pele steps back and lets someone else take the shot. But in the end, all of us working together in coordinated fashion towards that great common goal of taking these students, these 30,000 students that grace our campus, and changing their lives forever. I love this job. I love working with you. I admire you and can't wait for another year of service with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President. Thank you all for coming. There are still a couple more things we want to get done. Can I just say, we join with you, President. We love this institution. We love to help the students. That's why we're here. Everybody I talk to says, we're not here because of X or Y. We're here because of the students. Thank you for joining us in that. Okay. Up next, we have Sue Stevenson. She's the PACE Employee Recognition Chair. She's got a couple of things to say about Wolverine sightings, and then we'll move on from there.
What a wonderful morning to be a part of. I'm very happy to be here. And please, I've got something I want you to do, but don't let President Holland's new Chief of Staff with his handcuffs hinder in any way your participation in what I'm asking you to do right now. I want you to think about the first thing that comes to your mind when I say complete this sentence. You've been caught. Now share across the table how you would complete that sentence. Go. All right, because of time, I'm not going to give you a whole lot more, but when I have that sentence, you've been caught, I complete it with, by making UVU a better place to work. And a lot of good things were done this summer. And you know how I know? Because I got a lot of requests to print these Wolverine sighting postcards up. And if Vicki Walker's in the room, I'd like her to stand because she's the one who does all the typing. Is she here? Well, just give her a big hug if you see her in the halls. There are some fabulous people that have done some wonderful things, and people are watching and they are recognizing what you're doing. And some people even take the next step, going to the PACE website, filling out the very short form and submitting it so that we then can recognize those people in this formal fashion. Many of you do wonderful things that don't get recognized, and it would be my goal that everybody would get recognized. So take that opportunity to thank those, because it's a wonderful thing. You might get this postcard only once, given to you once, but it's a postcard that gives over and over and over again, because every time you see it, you smile. And when other people see it in your office, they smile. And that just keeps reciprocating. It's a great thing. Let me share with you some of the Wolverine sighting recognition winners for May. I'm going to read your name. Please stand and hold the applause until the end. Thank you. Chris Cox, Cassidy Carter, Vicki Marriott, Caitlin Tolman, me, Brett Tolman, Leslie Farnsworth, Tracy Taylor, Jolene Arnoff, Paulo Rondo, Ellen Sweat, Cindy Hatch, John Simpson. Are any of those people here? Oh, yeah. Okay, let's give them a hand. Okay, those Wolverine recognized in June can include Jason Findley, Marie Squires, Scott Childs, Beth Reed, David Tobler, Brett McKechnie, Shalise Nuttall, Belinda Hahn, Cameron Walker, Sherry Harward, Mariana Henry, Nathan Gerber, Sandra Kohler, Vicki Walker, Delana Crockett, Jamie Wynn, Cindy Whitehead, Mary Vanderdoes, Brett Tolman, and Tina Medina. Let's give them a hand, please. And then those that have been recognized in July include Travis Reynolds, Dan Jackson, James Hoppy, Lyle Kohler, Chris Coles, Relaine Torbo, Erin Donahue Rankin, Rita McCammon, Carla Morgan, Douglas Harvey, Kyle Reyes, Chad Johnson, Elvina Atakai, Kelly Clark, and Kirk Young. Please stand and give them an applause. Thank you. So those were our winners recognized, but please believe us, there are so many of you that go unrecognized, and we acknowledge that. I'm very excited to think about what's going to happen in August. So thank you for your time, and now it's my privilege to turn some time over to Jim Condi, who's going to talk to you a little bit about the PACE Wolverine Pride Committee.
Good morning. That's kind of like the aloha thing. Good morning. Crying out loud. Thank you. You know what? I've got, just in the interest of time, I'm going to try and be really brief. I can lower this. Don't have to do my tippy toes. I really appreciated the President's comments and Brett's comments on focusing on what we do, what is our contribution, how can we help here at UVU. When I think about Wolverine Pride, we have a lot of fun. And we, give a lot of things away, and we buy a lot of hot dogs and drinks and pennants. Want to make sure everybody gets one of these today. But really, Wolverine Pride, to me, goes a little deeper. It gets right down into our contribution, our individual contributions here on campus. And if I could kind of, indulge myself for a minute, this isn't about me, but when I think about myself, kind of an entry-level IT guy, hiding in the basement of the administration building, didn't know anyone on campus for years, and all of a sudden I kind of got chucked outside my comfort zone by a couple of coworkers and got involved in PACE. And getting involved in PACE, got involved in Wolverine Pride. And through Wolverine Pride, I look at the impact that we've had on many different departments around the campus and the impact we're having on the community and all the exciting things that we have planned out so far for this year. I just have to look back and think, wow. And again, it's not about me. It's not about anything I've done. It's about the committees. It's about PACE. And it's about the difference that each and every one of us can make. If you sit at a desk and you talk to students, maybe that difference is a smile. Maybe it's being a little more interested in what's going on for them or what you can do that day. Maybe it's getting outside of your comfort zone and getting involved in PACE or getting involved in clubs or other departments on campus. So I would encourage you, when you think about Wolverine Pride, don't just think about green shirts and pennants and water bottles and window stickers. Think about what it is that you're doing for this institution. What is your legacy? What will you leave when you leave the school? And one day when you're on the freeway driving by UVU, will you be thinking, yeah, that's somewhere I used to work? Or will you shed a little tear and say, I made a big difference there. That was an amazing experience. So I hope each of you really take that on and really make your contributions here. I like something that President Holland mentioned toward the end of his remarks on telling our story. And as I thought about that, I thought Wolverine Pride is a way for us to show our story, to show the community what's going on. I think of BYU's homecoming and how the city turns blue. I want to turn the city green this year at our homecoming, which is coming right up. And so we've got these pennants. I got about 700 of them out on the tables out there. That should be enough for everyone to get at least one. Please take at least one to put in your office. Don't take too many big stacks. I want to make sure everybody gets them. But I got a couple hundred more in my office. So if you need some for your area, like academic advising and areas where you can put them up, let me know. And I got some more that I can get to you. A couple other quick things. Oh, I guess the first one is, check out this cool shirt, right? $20 in the bookstore for a polo. Says, "We are the proud Wolverines," and it kind of ties in with the student spirit shirt for this year. That one right there. And that'll be available in the bookstore, I think, in just a week or so. It's supposed to be on the shelves before fall semester starts. Another thing is the Student Life and Wellness Building. They've come up with a neat deal. It's kind of a soft policy. I'm still kind of trying to talk them into this, that there's no other university clothing allowed in the Wellness Center unless it's UVU. And so they came up with this shirt, and what they're doing is a shirt swap. So if you have a shirt from any other university, bring it in, donate it, and you'll get one of these for free. And that's pretty cool. On top of that, if you want to buy one, I think they're $7. They're nice. They're more of a performance shirt than a regular T-shirt, so costs a little bit more. But $7, you can pick one of those up. And you know, really, the thing that makes me most excited about this is all of the donated shirts are being donated to a nonprofit, a charity in, I think, Africa. We're getting them out of the country. Oh yeah, big time. Let's see. And so when you're wearing your UVU shirt, UVU attire, remember Wolverine Wednesdays, right? You get $1 off, and they've got a lot of stuff planned. I think they start up the week after next. I think they'll be outside in the quad for the first Wolverine Wednesday of fall semester. So make sure you do that. You also get a free fountain drink at Food Services. If you buy a meal and you're wearing UVU attire, not just green, UVU attire, you get a free fountain drink with your meal purchase. And Food Services is helping with that promotion, and a couple other people have pitched in to keep that going. And so make sure you take advantage of that. Next thing is the Kids Club. They have a shirt. UVU Kids Club, yeah. Any guesses how many kids have signed up? Over 600. Over 600 kids have signed up for the Kids Club. We're seeing these shirts at bus stops and all over the place. If you've signed your kids up and haven't got a shirt yet, go to the bookstore at the little back counter there, and they have a bunch of these shirts. You got to make sure your kids signed up, and then you can get your shirt if you didn't get it. It's free with the Kids Club, with jumping in. Let's see, there's that. Soccer. This is the scarf. I think it unfolds, but in the interest of time, I won't fumble with it too much. Tyler donated this to me. Tyler, well, I have to give it back. But anyway, so what happens with this scarf, this is your season pass to all of the soccer games. So you go to the event center, you purchase this scarf, and then you get into all the soccer games for the entire season for free with this scarf. Plus, it's a cool scarf. You can wear it, you can decorate your chairs with it. Someone comes over your house, they're a little cold, you could use it for that. They're very nice. And then on the pennants, again, I got like 700 of them, so don't leave yet because there's something else coming up that's pretty amazing. But as you leave, make sure you get a pennant and decorate something with it. There's one more thing. Kids Club, they also get a piggy bank. On the front, it says, invest in your future. And this is my money. It doesn't come with money. It's what I had left after my direct deposit. But it's a start. It's a start. Okay, so that's kind of it for me.